All right, everyone, welcome back to Kolul Kol Shira, partnership with Breslov.org and the partnership with the Yeshiva Torah Shimon, of course. Very exciting. Parshat Toldot. I always say that, but it's truly, there's so much going on in these parshas. Where do you begin? So I think we'll do our, like we normally do, we'll do the overview of the parsha, and then we'll focus in on something, okay? So when we get a little bit of flavor of the entire parsha, and then we'll take it, we'll dissect a few different things. So let's start off with the first thing. The first pasuk in the parsha, it says, "Ve'ele Toldot Yitzchak ben Avraham," right? And these are the offsprings of Yitzchak, the son of Avraham. Now, Avraham hoiled as Yitzchak. Avraham gave birth to Yitzchak. Wait a second. Let's ask those. So Rashi asked the famous question: "Eile Toldot Yitzchak." Who's the Toldot Yitzchak? He says Esav, Yaakov and Esav. Okay, we know that Yaakov and Esav are the Toldot of Yitzchak. The Torah is giving us a preview what's going to happen later on in the parsha, right? Because they weren't born yet, right? Also, but then it says Avraham hoiled es Yitzchak. So Rashi says that there were a lot of late sonim, right? There were a lot of we'll call them scoffers on the generation, and they said something very interesting. They said all these years Avraham was married to Sarah, right? Many years, right? And Sarah was 90 years old, and she's taken captive. She's taken captive by Avimelech, right? And right after that, she becomes pregnant. So they say, well, wait a second. If she's living all these years with Avram Avinu, and she didn't have a child, and now she's with, she gets captive with Avimelech. Oh, so it must be he's the father, right? No, the Torah comes to tell you, no, Avraham hoiled es Yitzchak. It was Avraham that gave birth to Rashi says that that's why Yitzchak had the cluster panav of his father Avram. He looked exactly like his father. Why? So that way no one can ever say that Avimelech was the father. No, it's Avram was the father because he looks identical to him. Isn't that interesting? Very interesting, right? Now, but let's dissect it a little further. Let's go a little further. All right. Now, Toldot can also mean accomplishments. A Told is also known as an accomplishment. It means an offspring, but it also means an accomplishment. Now let's see. Yitzchak was certainly an accomplishment, right? I mean, Avram and Sarah were. Avram was 100 years old. Sarah was 90 years old, right? He was 99, 100, right? He was 100 when he was born. Okay, whatever. And they didn't have any children. What was going on behind the scenes? Why weren't there any children? You ever ask that? Why? Like they're so long, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu promises Avram that he shows him the stars, Koi Yeh Zaracha, like this. You see how the same way you can't count the stars, these are going to be your children, but he doesn't have any children. What was going on? So really, what was going on was that the Satan knows. You know, the Gemara says at the end of time, when Mashiach is going to come, so what's going to happen? The Satan's going to be slaughtered, finished. He's over, right? Like game's over for him. So what's the Satan trying to do constantly? He's trying to avoid Mashiach from coming. He doesn't want Mashiach to come, because when Mashiach comes, he's finished. So he tried all this time to prevent Yitzchak from ever being born. He didn't want Yitzchak to be born. Why? We know the Gemara says that at the end of time, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to come to Avram Avinu, is going to say to Avram Avinu, you know, your children sinned. And Avram Avinu will say, really? Okay. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that they're really supposed to be destroyed. So Avram Avinu says, listen, if they sinned and they were supposed to be destroyed, so then that's it. What am I supposed to do? He asks Yaakov Avinu, what do you think? He tells him the same thing. Yaakov Avinu, well, your children have sinned, and because your children have sinned, they have to be destroyed. So Yaakov Avinu says, listen, so whatever has to be done, has to be done. But then he comes to Yitzchak Avinu, and he says to Yitzchak the same thing. So Yitzchak says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, these are my children? These are not your children also? Right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to Yitzchak and says, these are your children's sin. What do you mean they're my children? They're not yours? So Yitzchak Avinu says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Palga alai, upalga alach. I take half the blame, and you take half the blame, Hashem. Leave them alone. So Yitzchak Avinu is going to be the one is going to come to redeem us. His argument is going to be the one that comes to redeem Klal Yisrael. And because of that, the Satan doesn't like that. So what happens? What happens with this? So the Satan says, well, if you're going to let Yitzchak come into this world, right? He started originally with Avraham, right? Where was Avraham Avinu born? He was born to the family of Terach, right? You ever think of that? That's an interesting thing, right? Terach, right? He was no upstanding person, right? He was not only was he an idol worshiper himself, he was actually an idol wholesaler. He produced idols. Remember that famous story, right? The famous story. He was a wholesaler of idols. He collected all idols from all over the world, and he was wholesaling them, right? So the Satan said, you know something? I'll allow Avram Avinu to come to the family of Terach, because again, what's going to happen? What's going to come from him in that family, right? Nothing's going to... but Avram Avinu became great, right? We know Avram Avinu found Hashem, and so on. Then he's kept it again now with Yitzchak. He didn't want Yitzchak to be born, right? Because again, if Yitzchak is born, so then there'll be children, and then he'll come to Mashiach, and then he'll be finished. Right? Amazing, right? Mamish amazing to understand what was going on behind the scenes, right? How the Satan is conniving, all these different things. So what happens then? We know that Yitzchak and Rivka were davening. The Medrash says something so beautiful. The Medrash Rabbah says something so beautiful. That Yitzchak Avinu was davening in his corner, and Sarah and Rivka was davening in her corner. Remember, right? They were davening each in their own corners. And Yitzchak was davening to Hashem. Hashem, I want it to be that when I have my children, I want them to be only with my wife Rivka. I don't want it to be like with my father Avraham. He couldn't have children. So what happened? He had to take Hagar. He had to take Hagar. I don't want that. Yitzchak was davening. I want to have my children only with Rivka. And Rivka was davening that I want to have only, my husband should have children only with me. So beautiful. Mamish, beautiful. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu answers Yitzchak Avinu. Why? Because Rashi says that because Yitzchak was a tzaddik ben tzaddik, where Rivka was the daughter of Besuel. Wasn't such a nice guy, right? Wasn't such a good guy, right? So therefore, his tefillah was answered. Okay, good. And then we know she becomes pregnant, right? Rivka becomes pregnant. Right after that, she becomes pregnant. And then the Torah says something very interesting. The children were quarreling inside of her. V'taymer im kain lo mazeh anoichi v'telech lidrosh es Hashem. She was saying, if this is the case that's going on, if this is the case that's going on in my womb, then I have this fighting going on. We know that when she would go by the house, let's say she would go by the yeshiva of Shem ve'Ever. So Yaakov Avinu would be kicking to go out. He wanted to go out. And then when she went by the Batei Avodah Zarah, right, the places of Avodah Zarah, Asa was jumping. He wants to get out. He wants to get out. Amazing, right? He wants to get out. Really, let me ask you a question. We know that when the baby's in the womb of the mother, the baby is learning Torah, right? Learning Torah with the Malach. It's a wonderful thing, right? It's wonderful. The baby learns Torah with the Malach. It's something truly wonderful. If that's the case, so why was Yaakov Avinu learning Torah with the Malach? Why did he want to go out when he went by Yeshiva Shem ve'Ever? You ever think of that? He's learning Torah already. Where's he going to go? Why does he have to go out? Right? Mm-hmm. But let me tell you something. When he had a chavrusa in the womb with it, like Esav, he says, I got to get out of here. I can't have a chavrusa like this. I can't learn with someone. I can't learn with this Esav. Others, and it's also said that Esav was very hairy. He was very hairy. So he was itching Yaakov. Yaakov was there with him, right? He was itching him with all that hair that he had on him, right? He was born with all that hair. He was very itchy. He was scratching him the whole time with the hair. He didn't like that. Oh, it's some cute things to understand, really understand the Parsha. But, and also there's another understanding where Yaakov was learning from the Malach. There was no amelis. He wasn't working on learning. Because he's learning from the Malach. So he wanted to go out to the yeshiva, so he'd be able to learn to have some amelis in Torah, to toil over learning a Torah. That's much greater than if you just, whatever, you're just there. Right? But if you learn Torah and you study and you work on it, that's a great thing. Yaakov Avinu was trying to get to that. He wanted to do, okay, that's another understanding. Now, but let's understand this. Now, why was Rivka saying that the children are arguing inside of me? So why do I need this for? What was she really saying? Let's discuss this for a second. She was saying like this. Look, my mother-in-law, Allah Shalom, she only gave birth to one child. She gave birth to a tzaddik, right? Sarah gave birth to who? Yitzchak. He's a tzaddik, right? The second child, who gave birth to the child? Hagar, who was born Yishmael, right? Rivka was saying, wait a second, if this is the case, that why do I have to have a bad child inside of me? Why can't I just have the good child? Why do I need to have a bad child inside of me? Interesting, right? So she went to ask Shem ve'Ever. She went to ask the yeshiva. Who is Shem? Shem was the son. He was the son of Noah, right? He was the son of Noah. He was an older man already, right? He was an older man at this time. He must have been maybe 500 years old at this time, right? Others asked, how come she didn't ask her? Why didn't she ask her father-in-law? Why didn't she ask Avraham Avinu? She could have asked Avraham Avinu, right? But she didn't ask Avraham Avinu. She waited to ask. She asked Shem. Why did she ask Shem? He was older and he had a little more life experience, so she asked Shem. Either way, she went to Shem. And Shem said to her that you have two nations inside of you. Two nations. And they're both going to be great nations. One is going to be Yaakov. He's going to be going towards Hashem in the Torah and studying. And Esav is going to go after all the worldly things. So she says, what do I need that for? That's terrible. So they told her, no, not so bad. Even from Esav, some good is going to come from Esav. Did you know that? Did you know that good comes from Esav? You know what good comes from Esav? You ever learn in the Chumash, you see the Targum, Unkelus, right? You know that Unkelus was a ger. He was a Gentile. He turned to be a Jew. He was a ger. He was a ger tzedek. How about, did you ever hear of Rabbi Akiva? Rabbi Akiva, the great Rabbi Akiva, right? We only have Torah today. We only have Torah Shabbal Peh today because of Rabbi Akiva. You know that Rabbi Akiva's parents, they were also Gever? They were also converts? And where did the converts come from? They come from Esav. You see that? So he was saying that even good can come out of Esav. Even good can come out of Esav. Right? The Rebbeim of Hillel. You know, we have the base medrash of Hillel and the base medrash of Shammai, right? We have Shammai and Hillel, right? And they're always arguing. Shammai and Hillel are always arguing all through Shas, right? They're arguing. Hillel, who was Hillel's Rebbe? His Rebbe was Shmai and Naphtaliah. They were converts. The great Hillel's Rebbeim, his Rebbeim were converts. So you see, such good comes from Esav. Esav good comes for Klal Yisrael, even from Esav. So then Rivka was okay. Rivka was okay with it. She said, if that's the case, that there's going to good come from Esav, then I understand. I can accept that. Okay. Now, let's go a little further. Now, back to the Satan now. So the Satan said, I don't really want Yitzchak to be born originally. And that's why when it came to the Akedah, right? When it came to the case where Hashem told Avraham Avinu to slaughter Yitzchak, right? When it came to that Akedah, right? So what happened when the Malach told Avraham Avinu, don't slaughter Yitzchak, right? I know this. I know that you believe in me, and I know you fear me, and you don't have to do this. It was only a test. So what happens? There was a ram, and the ram's horns were stuck in the bush. Why was the ram's horn stuck in the bush? The Satan wasn't letting the ram loose. Why? He wanted Avraham Avinu. Hey, listen, I got this knife in my hand. I got to slaughter. Don't slaughter the ram, slaughter Yitzchak. Because he didn't want Yitzchak to go on. But Avraham Avinu, Hashem made the menes that Avraham Avinu was able to get the ram out, and he put the ram instead of Yitzchak Avinu, right? Now we know later in the Parsha, there was a hunger, right? There was a hunger in the land, in Eretz Canaan, right? In Israel, there was a hunger. So Yitzchak Avinu wanted to go down to Mitzrayim. Hashem told him, no, you can't go down to Mitzrayim. You're an Ola. You're a carbon Ola. You're considered a burnt offering, and a carbon can't leave Israel. Can't leave Israel. Right? You see that? That's how special Yitzchak Avinu was. But now, what happened? So the Satan says like this, if I can't get Yitzchak, I want Yitzchak's firstborn. I want his firstborn. Who was supposed to be the firstborn of Yitzchak? Can you guess?
Yaakov?
No. How about David? David. David. I'm going to show you now. Wait a second. This is interesting. I promise you're going to find this interesting. All right, listen to this. Look at the resemblance. We know that Esav was born and he was hairy and red, right? We know that David was born and he was also red, right? He was also red. Oh, interesting, right? Wait a second. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made a switch. Because the Satan wanted to be able to get David HaMelech. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu made him look like David HaMelech, and then the Satan sees that he's sinning pretty good. Esav was doing pretty good in the sin department, right? He went out and he killed Nimrod. He's a murderer. He was a rapist. He was a thief. He did everything. He took care of everything. He worshipped idols. Esav was the worst of the worst, right? So the Satan said, nothing's going to come from him. Nothing's going to come from him. But look at and I'll tell you something else. You know, do you ever think of this? Did you ever think of the fact that there are 4 mothers but only 3 fathers? Right? We have the patriarchs and the matriarchs, right? The patriarchs, we have Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, right? But when it comes to the matriarch, we have 4, right? We have 4. We have Sarah, we have Rivka, we have Rachel and Leah. 4. Wait, how come there's 4 for 3? Do you know who was supposed to be the 4th one? David was supposed to be the 4th one. That's why when Leah is crying, that's why Leah is crying next week's Parsha. Leah's going to be crying. Why is she crying? She's crying because she knows that really David was supposed to be born to be the firstborn, and I was supposed to marry David. But look at this, it came Esav. I don't want to marry Esav. I don't want to be stuck with this Esav. I don't want to be stuck with him. And that's the next thing. Listen to this. So next week's Parsha, again, I'm sorry, we're going to mix them because they really go together. So that's why I'll just bring some things up there. When Yaakov Avinu have that, when the wedding is, that after the 7 years he worked, right? And Rachel was supposed to be his wife, correct? But remember, Rachel gave the signs to Leah, right? Gave the signs to Leah. Gave the signs to Leah. So in the morning, Yaakov Avinu asked Leah, hey, what happened? She says, what do you mean what happened? He said, you tricked me. She says, of course I tricked you. Didn't you trick your father also? Didn't you trick your father? What goes around comes around, right? You tricked your father, I could trick you too. You ever hear that? Isn't that interesting, right? Right? You tricked this week's Parsha, right? At the end of the Parsha, after Yitzchak Avinu is getting old, and he tells Esav to bring him his matamim, his delicacies, so he can bless him, right? He bring me the delicacies so I can bless you. Wait. Let's just mute that, please. Mute that. Yeah. Bring me the delicacies so that way I can bless you. What happened? Rivka dresses up Yaakov that he should look like Esav, and he should be able to take the blessings from Esav, right? That's what he did, right? Right? And now, when he did that, Leah says, "Hey, why did you did the same thing to me? You did the same thing to me. You tricked Yaakov. You tricked your father, and now you were tricked." Okay, interesting idea. Now, there's many more things. If you want, should we continue? I'll continue on the explanation. Okay, right? We'll continue a little bit more. We can go a little deeper. Let's go a little deeper. Let's go see now. Some of the other beautiful things of David and the fact, like we were talking about before, with the Satan, and why Esav was born. Why Esav was born instead of David, and so on. And really, you had the idea. You have this idea that let's see. Where we were up to there. We're up to the okay. They were right. Okay. Okay. So Yaakov Avinu and David have a lot of similarities. They have a lot of similarities, right? Let's discuss some of their similarities. Yaakov and David both married Pelakshim, a Pelegesh, right? They both married a Pelegesh, right? Yaakov took on the Pelakshim of Rachel and Leah, right? And Oh, that noise! Wow, there's okay. Please, if you could keep the noise down. Okay, and David HaMelech also had pilakshin. Okay, when it came to David HaMelech, when he had to, they both came against giants. Yaakov Avinu winds up fighting with the Sar Shel Esav, right? The Malach of Esav, a giant. David HaMelech winds up fighting against the giant. Who's the giant? Goliath. David fought with Goliath, right? Same idea. They both fought with giants. Both of them, a miracle happened to. What was a miracle that happened to both of them? When Yaakov Avinu went to get Esav's clothing, where did the Esav get his clothing from? He went and he murdered Nimrod. Nimrod was the one that stole the clothing from Noah. Noah got the clothing from Adam. What was the clothing that he had? That was the garment that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to Adam. That Adam should wear the garment, so therefore the animals wouldn't come and attack him. And he would be able to be over the animals. And this was the garment. And he gave it over to Adam. Right? He gave it to Adam. Adam gave it to Noah. Noah came along, Nimrod stole it from Noah. Esav says, I want it. He killed Nimrod to take the garment. Yaakov Avinu winds up putting on that garment. When Rivka told him, go get your brother's garment, go get that garment. Do you know that garment was much, much larger? That garment was much, much larger. That garment was much, much larger than Yaakov Avinu. It was much larger than Yaakov Avinu, that garment. However, there was a miracle that he put on the garment and it fit him like a glove. It fit him so nicely. Why? Because he knew when Yitzchak was going to go to feel him, if the garment would be too big, he would know it's not him. Right? So the miracle was that the garment, even though it was much bigger, it fit him so nice and snugly. Now, next thing happened. David HaMelech, when he went to fight against Goliath, right? We know that David HaMelech, the great David HaMelech, was going to deliver lunch to his brothers. His brothers were out in battle fighting the Plishtim, right? And they were the Chayalim, they were the soldiers. And Yishai, the father, told David to go bring them lunch. David HaMelech went out there and he saw, the story is amazing. And he saw that there's this guy Goliath, this big monster that's terrorizing the Jewish people. He was terrorizing the Jewish people. He would come out in the morning when it's time to say Shema, and he would make fun of Hashem. And he would come out in the afternoon when it came time to say Shema again by the evening time, and he would make fun of Hashem again. This is what he would do. David HaMelech saw this. He says, what do you mean, making fun of Hashem? Why don't we get rid of this guy? Why don't we get rid of him? They said, well, he's much bigger than us. David HaMelech said, that's okay, I'll get rid of him. David HaMelech said, I'll get rid of him. So they said, if you're going to go fight him, you have to wear armor. So they gave him Shaul HaMelech, the king's armor, to put on the armor to go battle. But again, the armor was too big on David. David was small. And again, the second miracle, the same way like the miracle happened by Yaakov, where Esav's garments were too big and it became smaller to fit him, so too the armor fit David HaMelech. Here's another resemblance of Yaakov and David HaMelech. Okay, we have the another beautiful idea. Now look, and then that answers now why we didn't have the three. Why we have the three avos and the four emos. We know now that David HaMelech was supposed to be married to Leah. So then you would have had Abraham Avinu married to Sarah, Yitzchak Avinu married to Rivka, David HaMelech married to Leah, Yaakov Avinu married to Rachel. Oh, everything would have been great 4 and 4. How do you know that this is right? Because we know that the Merkav, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Kisei HaKavod, has the portrait of four people. Do you know who the 4 people are? Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and David. On the Kisei HaKavod, Hashem's throne of glory, has David HaMelech is on the Kisei HaKavod. Unbelievable. I'll ask you this. When it comes to Shabbos, right? So we know we have 3 meals on Shabbos, right? We eat 3 meals, right? We eat the Friday night meal, which is Yitzchak Avinu. We eat the morning meal, which is Avraham Avinu. And we eat the Suda Shlishit, the third Suda, right? Shalosh Sudas is Yaakov Avinu. Is Yaakov Avinu. And then after Shabbos, we eat another Suda. What do we call that? Sudas David Malka Meshicha. We call that Sudas David HaMelech. So here you have it. The 3 Sudas of Shabbos is Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and the 4th one is David HaMelech. Why is it called Sudas David HaMelech? We know the Gemara says that David HaMelech knew that he was going to die on Shabbos. He knew that. So every time David HaMelech passed the Shabbos, he would make a big Suda after Shabbos that he survived another Shabbos, that he survived another week. And that's why he made the Suda. And it's a big schooler for us to make the Suda, to do the Malava Malka. It's such an important Suda to make. After Shabbos, you sit down, you wash again after Shabbos, and you eat something nice. If you eat something meat, you can eat something but you enjoy, and you can light a candle, and you say, I'm lighting the candle, David Malka Meshicha, David HaMelech. Unbelievable to do that, right? But again, here you have the 3 Sudas, and you have the four names, right? You have the four pictures that you have on the Kisei HaKavod. The 4 pictures that you have on the Kisei HaKavod. What are the 4 pictures? Again, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and David. There you have it. You understand now the connection that really the Satan wanted to get the firstborn of Yitzchak. Who was the firstborn of Yitzchak? Should have been David, but really it came out of as Esau. That's why they were both red, because then Mashiach would have came right away. Chazal say that if in one generation you would have had Avram Avinu alive, Yitzchak Avinu alive, and you would have David HaMelech, and you would have had Yaakov Avinu, Mashiach would have came right then and there. But the Satan didn't like that, because then he's finished. So he fought it. And he keeps fighting it. Every time the Satan's fighting, the Satan is fighting all the time. Why is the Satan fighting? Because he doesn't want to give up his life. He knows at the end of the day, if he doesn't do that, he's going to be finished. And that's why okay, and we go on. We understand this understanding of really who Rivka Imenu knew this. Rivka Imenu knew that Esau was there, but Yitzchak Avinu didn't know that. Yitzchak Avinu thought that he was really having David HaMelech. He thought that was the plan. He thought that his oldest child would be David HaMelech, and his younger child would be Yaakov Avinu. That's why the whole time Yitzchak is okay with Esau. He thinks Rivka didn't tell him. Rivka didn't tell him what Shem Be'eva told him. What told her. She didn't say anything to him. So he didn't know. But Yitzchak Avinu didn't know, really. But let's understand now, let's learn something inside so beautiful of what does it mean that Yitzchak Avinu didn't know. Let's look at this piece inside over here, okay? Here. Rivka Shamas Bedaber Yitzchak. Rivka was listening in when Yitzchak was talking to Esau. And he was saying, bring me the matamim. Bring me my delicacies, the things that I enjoy to eat, so therefore I can bless you. Bring me the delicacies, therefore I can bless you. Ki Rivka Yoda, Kol Zois Hatif. Rivka knew this very, very well. She'esav hu Rasha Gomor v'kavanosai lahara. Rivka knew that Esav was a Rasha, he was a wicked man, and all he wanted to do is wicked. And therefore she sent Yaakov Avinu in a cunning way, in a trickery way, to go take the blessings from Yitzchak, from her husband, instead of giving it to Esav. Ki Yaakov had tzaddik, because Yaakov is the tzaddik. We know Yaakov Avinu was Yoshev Tamim, Yoshev Halim. We know one more thing I want to tell you, one more reference to David HaMelech, and Yaakov Avinu. Before I forget, I want to tell you one more. Yaakov Avinu was born with a bris. So was David HaMelech. David HaMelech, when David HaMelech writes in Tehillim, David HaMelech writes in Tehillim, it's such a beautiful thing. He writes Michtam LeDavid. What does the word tam mean? Complete. He says, I was complete. I was also born with the bris. David and Yaakov Avinu were both born with a bris. It's another reference to the two of them. Of David and Yaakov. Unbelievable. The references, it's mamish unbelievable. One more reference. In Ein Yaakov it says that Yaakov loy meis. Yaakov never died. Yaakov loy meis. Okay, that's what the Ein Yaakov brings down. It's brought down, Chazal say that Yaakov lo meis. Okay. It also, we know, David HaMelech, we say, David Melech Yisrael Chai V'Kayam. Right, we have to say, David Melech Yisrael Chai V'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael Chai V'Kayam. David HaMelech also lives forever. Yaakov Avinu lives on forever. David HaMelech lives on forever. But now Rivka saw this, and she knew the truth. Ki Yaakov had tzaddik, ki efshalei lekabel a bracha she'em hashefa parnasa ba'olam hazeh, ki im al yedei ramos. If Yaakov Avinu was going to get the blessings, he would only be able to get the blessings in that way of trickery, in that way of cunning. Shemuchrech lahalbish es atzmai, he had to enclothe himself, bibechinas asiya gashmias, into something of physicality, shu bechinas Esav. He had to dress himself like he's Esav. Kidei sheyuchal lekabel parnasa, in order for him to get parnasa. That's strange. V'zehu shehilbish Esav belevushe Esav v'loi hikiroi. And therefore he dressed himself up like Esav, and he wasn't recognized to be Yaakov. Yaakov Avinu said, Hakol kol Yaakov hayadayim yedei Esav. He says, your voice sounds, Yitzchak said, your voice sounds like Yaakov, but your hands, they're very hairy, just like Esav, because Yaakov Avinu dressed himself up. Now, ki hayu yodav kidei Esav achiv se'eris v'yivarcheyu. Because he put on the hairy garments like we spoke about a moment ago, right? He took the garment that he stole, that Esav stole from Nimrod. He killed Nimrod, right? And when he came to the thing, Haliteni Naman Edom Azeh, right? He came in, he was Ayev. What does it mean he was Ayev? Because he just killed. He killed Nimrod that day. To take the garment that again was given to Noach from Adam. Nimrod stole it from Noach, and Esav killed him. Unbelievable these things that we see in the parsha. Yaakov Avinu has nothing to do. We don't have really anything to do with parnasa. What do we have to do? What are we supposed to do? Ki chelka irak Torah mitzvahs. Our chelik is supposed to be Torah mitzvahs. All day we're supposed to be involved in Torah mitzvahs. But watch, no, don't worry. Okay, bechinas ha'oras ha'rotzen. It's to follow the rotzen of Hashem. Shehu heipich asiyas kashmir, which is the opposite of doing things of physicality and indulging in this world. Uve'emes lasid. But when Mashiach is going to come, Chevra, I'm telling you, Mashiach is mamish here. You can hear Mashiach knocking. You can hear him walking. You can hear Mashiach. He's atat here. When Mashiach is going to come, mamish b'mheira v'yameinu, speedily in our days. Lo yasku yisrael b'shum esek. We won't have to go to business. We won't have to go to work. We're not going to have to go to work. Why not? Ki ya'askem. Because it'll be done for us. It'll be happening for us. Ve'omdu zorim v'ro tzainchem. All the strangers, the world, the whole world, all the people will come and say, what can we do for you? Not like the world is today. How the world goes out there and they try to see, how can we harm Klal Yisrael? No, when Mashiach is going to come and the truth is going to come out, that we're the chosen nation and this is our land. Eretz Yisrael is ours, and they're going to realize that. Oh, all the Goyim will come running. What can we do for you? What can we do for you? They'll run our stores, they'll run our businesses, they'll take care of our flocks, they'll take care of everything for us, they'll do everything for us. What happened if Yaakov would have went into Yitzchak and said, Father, can you please give me a blessing of Gashmias? Right? What would have happened? What would have happened? Yitzchak would not have been willing to do that. He would have said to him, why are you even thinking about Parnasa Klal at all? Your job is to study and daven to Hashem. Your job isn't to make Parnasa. Your Parnasa should happen by others. You don't have to worry about that. They have to beg you to do something for you, so that way they can have a merit in this world as well. That's the main purpose of the nations of the world. They're supposed to come and help us. And you are supposed to be the one sitting in the tent like Yaakov Avinu did. Don't even think about Parnasa. It's going to be in the future. That's mamish going to be that way. The way it's going to be that the strangers will come and they'll take care of our tzainchem. They'll take care of our sheep. They'll take care of our sheep. They'll take care of our animals. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the Heilige Rabbi Shimon, the Tana, Rashbi, the Holy Rashbi. What did he say? Efsha Adam Chayresh B'Shas Charisha. Is a person going to plow in the time of plowing? When you plow the fields? V'Zayreya B'Shas Zariya. And he'll seed. He'll put the seeds in the ground at the time that you put the seeds around. Torah matehei aleh. What's going to be with the Torah? If we're going to be so involved in just planting and doing things of this world, what's going to ever come of the Torah? That was what Rabbi Shimon said. When we do the right thing and we follow what Hashem wants us to do, then our work will be accomplished by others. Others will be the ones that will take care of our work for us. We won't have to do the work. The work will be done by others. Yitzchak wanted that the world should be now, as it's going to be in the future. Again, Yitzchak Avinu thought that Esav was David, thinking he's David, is Mashiach. And if therefore it's Mashiach's time, I have to give the blessings of the Parnasa to David, not to Yaakov. Yaakov is Yoshev Olim. He doesn't need it. Ki Yitzchak Rosh is not Olim. Take him K'Mashiach B'Seif Ki Sheyaveh Mashiach B'Meirav Yameinu. When Mashiach is going to come speedily in our day. Speedily in our day. We're mamish hoping any day now Mashiach is going to come. Mamish, we're hoping any day we'll see the big Yeshua. and we'll all be able to come back to Eretz Yisrael. And we'll all be able to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu the way we're supposed to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And we'll see the beauty of Eretz Yisrael. We'll see the beauty of the Torah. We'll see the beauty of Klal Yisrael. This is, what we're waiting for so desperately. So desperately. Out any minute. Mamish, out any minute. This Mashiach is going to come. We'll see the big Yeshuas. And I want to know, does anyone have any comments or questions? I said a lot of things here today, a lot of different interesting things, right? No one ever really heard this idea that the Asa was supposed to be, David was supposed to be the Asa. Why David HaMelech was born in a way that he was all red, and Yishai thought that he was another Asa. He thought he was another Asa. That's why Yishai casted him away. Yishai casted him away. You have a question? What's your question?
I kind of went. I got off of the Zoom for a little, cause I by accident pressed the button. Why was Asa red?
Asa. Why was Asa red? Asa was born red because David HaMelech was supposed to be born red as well. And since David HaMelech was supposed to be born red as well. So therefore, Hashem made the trick that he made him red, so the Satan thought that he was David. But really he was Asa. Because he wanted to get rid of him. He wanted to knock him. That's a very good question. Yes, go ahead.
Again, how did the Satan prevent David from being born?
Okay, because again, let me ask you this, Ernie. In general, when it comes to the Satan, let's say like this. Let's say I gave you a nice diamond, right? And I told you to hide the diamond, right? Hide it, right? Well, and then because someone's going to come and rob you, right? So where would you want to hide? What would be the best place to hide the diamond? What would be the best place? Where would you hide it? Any suggestions?
It wouldn't be seen. I mean,
Well, where would you hide it? Where would you think? Would you put it in with, if you have other precious stones, would you put it with the other precious stones? If you maybe had a safe, would you put it in a safe? Maybe you put it, but that would be the first place that the thief would be looking for, right? Mm-hmm. How about the best place would be you take the diamond and throw it in the garbage? Mm-hmm. Okay. Leave it in the garbage can, huh? If you leave it in the garbage can, it's not likely the thief is going to go look in the garbage can, right?
That's right, that's true.
Right? Make sure no one takes out the garbage, though. Make sure no one takes out the garbage when the diamond's in there, right? Okay. No, so that's really what HaKadosh Baruch Hu does all the time. Because he made the system, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the system that Zeluma Ze'osalikim, Hashem has in the world always inequality, equal amount of good and bad in the world, always equal and bad. There's never going to be more bad or more good in the world. There's always equal. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that way we have our bechira, right? We have our free choice. We have to always have Hashem wants us to have free choice. We must have free choice. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu does everything that we can have free choice. So that was a good question, why he was born red. And now we understand why all these things are so mysterious behind the scenes, right? All these things. Why was Avraham Avinu again born to Terach? Right? And then he wanted to kill him. Right? Nimrod wanted to kill him. Right? Nimrod wanted to kill Avraham Avinu. Right? And again, he put him in the fire. And he put him into the fire. Right? All these different things happen. It's mind-boggling to understand. But just realize HaKadosh Baruch Hu is behind everything. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is bringing the world to its final perfection. Any day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you see, is bringing the world to his final perfection right now. Even though we see all the turmoil and all the things in the world, but know that the world is constantly achieving its perfect harmony. And the world will achieve its perfect harmony any day when Mashiach comes. So we hope in Hashem, we hope with all our hearts to be able to greet Mashiach Tzidkenu together. to be able to greet Mashiach Tzidkenu together, and together we'll all be able to hold hands, and we'll march to Yerushalayim Ira Kodesh, and we'll all be able to see. We'll be able to see the Binyan Beis Hamikdash Hashlishi, the third Beis Hamikdash, which is only going to come again. The first Beis Hamikdash was Avraham Avinu. The second Beis Hamikdash was Yitzchak Avinu. The third Beis Hamikdash is Yaakov Avinu. But he's only going to come around with David HaMelech, because Mashiach is going to come around. So the third Beis Hamikdash is another connection where you have the Beis Hamikdash, where you have David connected to Yaakov. The Beis Hamikdash will be Yaakov's Beis Hamikdash, but it'll only come through David. The same way David and Yaakov were supposed to be brothers, and Mirz Hashem, when Mashiach comes, it'll be that way in Mirz Hashem, and Mirz Hashem. And I want to thank everyone for joining, and the Mirz Hashem will join again next week. We should all have a wonderful Shabbos. That this is Shabbos Mevorchim. Right, this is Shabbos Mevorchim, right?